Okay.
Okay, we're recording now. All right. Hey.
Okay,
Okay, so now we turn it to Anna for our treasurer report. We spent a lot of money last year. You know, we did have some expenses last year because we took in some money and we did pay our speakers last year. We gave them each small honoraria. So our expenses last year were offering scholarship and for Feeding America, we gave our leaders two, those were $617.50 each. And we had speaker honoraria of $400. We gave them $100 as a thank you for taking time, especially during COVID. So total expenses of $1,635, even $1,635. We had income between offerings that were online and offerings that were mailed. This does not include the fees that were covered by the donors to pay online. Total income was $1,635. Okay, well, that might be over years.
So we have in balance of $1,749.50. We had donations of $559.50. Offering 50%, 6,000 or 670.50. Scholarship granting is zero.
Because nobody needs that scholarship.
I guess y'all were flush. Yeah. Yeah. So ending balance was $2,926.50.
Miraculous checking account balance is currently $14,135. So we do have money in the bank.
May I interrupt?
Yeah.
If Anna would turn off.
Including, we have 45 social attendees this year. That includes our captains and our speakers, 31 who are here in Portland. 14 are on roll.
States include, of course, Iowa and Minnesota, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina.
Right in center on our side.
So in our roll call, of those 45 attendees, 20 of us are from First Christian Minneapolis. Sorry, six from Lake Harriet, 4 from First Christian Ames, 2 each from First Christian Muscatine Garden City Christian and Lead Beginning, and one each from Christ United. That's downtown, like First Christian Preston, First Christian City, Park Baptist Christian, and then one St. John's UCC plus our chaplain there. So that would be attention. Typically, I would get by at Walgreens. Yeah. No, what's funny is that I was trying to be like efficient with my time this week because I was a little busy getting ready to come here. So I thought I'm just gonna place an order to just pick up a bunch of stuff that I need from Target, including some things that I didn't necessarily usually buy from Target, but really candy to just get anything better from there. And I thought, I'll just buy a gift certificate. I'll just get a gift card. That's how we put it. You cannot buy a physical gift card for curbside pickup at Target. And I could email it to you, but I could not get a physical one. I was Walgreens. And there's one Target. My finger on that. And this does include our virtual attendees, so if you are a winner,
I will
mail
mail
it
it
to you.
Gift cards in the mail.
Kathy,
Kathy
yes.
is.
You're praying about that.
No,
No, you don't require a card. Oh. Don't try to go longer. Yeah, no, don't try to go longer. I already, no. No, it's written on the back. Oh. Yeah. What is that? Surprise, no money. Thank you, Anna. You just got my card. All right, as far as I can find, we don't have any old business.
There might be old business
Out there? If there is, let me know, and we'll put it
Yeah. We were reminded though that we were going to start some sort of a plan for finding out who among us has some medical training, some first aid skills, anything like that, and we completely failed to put that in the registration. So we will try to remember to do that for next year, so that if somebody falls and trips and hurts themselves, for example, then we know who to go find to help get everyone back on their feet. For new business. Have we talked about where our offerings are going this year? Coordinators, do you have any?
Oh, we're up for like suggestions.
So generally, our speaker gets to choose, I forget how this works.
Half.
Half chooses half, and then half goes to the disabled, whatever it's called now.
Right. Mission time.
Mission fund. Let's just, okay. Let's say that. All right. So Kathy gets to choose half.
Yeah. After she's back in her role.
That's smart. She was teaching.
That's she would be invited to the business.
And then hunger offerings, if we have suggestions, you can let Deb and Lisa know for hunger offerings.
And we can reuse my lovely bag that we just grew from for hunger offers.
Okay.
I forgot to put it out last night during snack.
Oh,
And so people I'm sure gave online already.
Yes, a lot of you have already given online, thank you.
And if you're like me, you may have given online and then forgotten you did, then you again at the door. Excellent. That's your right now, already did that. Good. On your way to and fro lately, you may have noticed a quilt hanging out in the thing out there, hallway. That came out of Ann Wolverton's basement. She no longer wants it in her house. So we're looking for a good home. So if anyone has an idea of what we should do with the quilt, we did have one suggestion to see if maybe the conference center in Newton would be interested in displaying it somewhere, or I don't know if they have an archive room or anything like that. But
There's a lot of wall space.
think about that. If you have any other suggestions, we're open to hearing your ideas. And I posted that on the Facebook page too. Thank you.
I have a suggestion. I don't know if it's done. Is it quilted? Yes. It is a quilt. What about donating it to the lady that spoke on human trafficking that does the. What's that? She deals with homeless and people recovering, and it's talking helping hands, and she's helping hands people. I don't remember her name or the.
Breaking through.
Okay. I just thought the helping hands of the.
She used actually. And then,
No.
Yeah.
Like to give it.
Yeah, really.
Like that.
Yeah, women's number or.
I like the idea of having it donated here to become, but if they aren't willing to do that, then we could maybe send it to the conference center and. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were gonna ask about having it donated here.
I suggested here and they're like, yeah.
No, the conference center.
visually
Yes.
and make it be part of our visual memories in the Dropbox. Maybe ask one of the women on the quilt if they wanted to hang on to it. If not, then a donation to a shelter or a woman-based organization.
It's not a fully, it's not quilted fully, there's no batting.
No, there's no batting anymore.
So it's like, it's actually a banner.
It's like a hanging.
Yeah.
So.
So donating it to a shelter is not gonna help them much.
Right,
It would
right.
be a very light weight.
Maybe one of those women down in the lunchroom.
Well, Hannah Ross actually does. Learned it from her mother-in-law. Very nice.
We'll think on it. This is not a decision we need to reach right here in this meeting. If you have suggestions, let me know.
Where's it going from here after?
We don't know yet.
Where is it going? Probably
So that's a decision that's to be made before we leave.
in my car.
So we know where we'll be.
Yeah. My husband will
We'll
be.
be with Becky.
We don't decide to go. We'll risk my children getting a home. All right. Our next order of business, that is another thing we don't necessarily need to decide right now, but something I want people to start thinking about, is as we were preparing, our committee was getting everything ready for you, we have a request from Josh Patty, our regional minister, that he would like to come to retreat. And he said, not this year, because of course they have the congregational gathering and everything busy. First of all, he apologizes that these two things happened at the same time and that you all have to choose between the two. Thank you for choosing one.
I have no choice.
But he would be interested in coming at some point in time, but if we're not wanting that, seems like he was understanding that as well. So that's question A. And then that led into discussion B, which is that the topic of gender has been changing a lot lately, and it probably isn't going to be very long before we have an issue of someone who is maybe not what we would consider traditionally a woman, but someone who identifies as a woman, someone who is transgender, someone where we're gonna have to make a decision potentially on how does that fit into who we are and what we do here. So for now, I'm asking you to think about, what does women's retreat mean to you? What does it mean to come here in the company of women? Is that something that we want to keep to continue? Is that something we want to expand or redefine in any way? So think on that, pray on that, have discussions with each other over meals, whatever you can do for that. And then at some point, we will have an evaluation, I think. You can make notes on your evaluation with ideas. You can send us messages, anyone on the team. And we'll all be up here later, but just starting to gather some of those thoughts and opinions.
I just have a couple questions.
Yeah.
First of all, has it ever happened before that a regional minister who was male came to retreat ever?
No, but for a long time, one of our attendees was married to the regional minister. And she would just bring his greetings and go from there.
Now, we have had male
I know.
leaders.
Don.
We've had speakers that were,
Speaker, oh, yeah.
we've had speakers that were
Yes,
married.
yes, from, where was he?
It was the Karen community, I think, wasn't that when Warren?
Well, that was different. I'm thinking when we were in, this is a long time ago, when we were in Koinonia. And,
That's what it was.
and I can't, he was a national leader. I don't know what office
Mhm.
he held. I really have to think on this, but he was our speaker for that retreat. We gave him red long johns and they short sheeted his bed. He had a very good attitude.
That's good.
Oh,
As well as you should.
yes.
So that would be an option, is to have him as, in the capacity of the speaker. Rather than.
I'm just saying there was such
Right.
an occurrence.
Are you under the impression that he wanted to come and visit, or he wanted to come and retreat the whole weekend?
It sounded like he wanted to come for the weekend.
Yeah, when I talked to him, that's the impression I got.
Okay.
And then there was the idea with our technology now that he could just zoom in from home and send his greetings at the opening of retreat or something like that.
Right.
So kind of like what we did with Emily when she brought greetings from the region. So those are all positive.
Well, I think that if you have a regional person like him in it, we would hope to continue to promote the retreat. Or this understands it.
Yeah.
He gets it now. He's gotten an earful from several of us. And he actually called me one day and said, have you got time to talk about women's retreat? I said, absolutely. And so he's clear now on when we have it and not to set something up that makes people pick, because there are a lot of us that would pick this over anything else, no matter what it was. So,
There's people who struggle with either date, so it's hard. You know, I mean, it's
World Communion Sunday.
Sunday, and if it was the week before, Hannah wouldn't make it because a child's birthday, and she can't be in Pennsylvania and here at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's always.
well, and it-
He goes to ship for it.
part of it,
I mean, everyone's.
Yeah.
part of why things got scheduled the way they did this year is, first of all, they didn't pay any attention to when our retreat was, but there were only certain days available at the conference center. They do a lot of rentals on weekends. So they have to pick their date like 6 months ahead, but we know when we leave here, when our next date is.
Yeah.
So I want everybody to call Josh and let him know what our date is for next year, okay? But they are going to pick middle of October for all church gathering from now on.
We never move, they keep moving.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and so I believe that there've been enough of us that have had conversations with Josh that he gets it now.
And here we're locked into our weekend. Because if we don't come the weekend that they have for us, then we can't guarantee that we're gonna be here. So-
Right. And he understands that
Once in a
now.
while, it happens to be World Communion Sunday. And we put in a request to try to move it a weekend earlier when that does happen, but there are other groups that are in the same situation that are locked in year after year and every year.
Yeah, and in fact, we are booked now for September 30th through October 2nd for next year.
Oh, okay, there we go.
That's perfect.
Because again, the group that is often here right before us is booked and they were not able to move from there last weekend in September.
So it'll be over World Communion Sunday again
Yeah.
next year.
But it has been for many.
Oh, it often is, yeah.
It's Wendy's turn now.
I believe that we as a body did vote and affirmed that it was supposed to be the last full weekend in September.
Well,
I
we
think we
can't,
checked back, so we couldn't do it.
but we can't, so we.
We'd have to go to a different camp.
We would have to go to a different camp.
Okay, forever and into perpetuity is what we're talking about.
It's like, in their calendar, the first weekend of 2022 is weekend 1. And the second weekend, so whatever, wherever the first falls, that first weekend is weekend 1, and we are weekend 40 or whatever it is, probably that's right. But, so it just, it's because of the way they set their calendar. That we can't, never mind, I'll talk to you about it. You can all come have a conversation. There's a nice about how it's in the-
I just thought that we had said as a body that it was supposed to be the last full weekend.
We did.
We did, but it's not possible
But it's
here.
not possible at Coronas because this other group, which is as large or larger than us, also likes to have that last weekend in September or the X number of weekends after Labor Day weekend, I think is how they do theirs. So sometimes that means we might be able to get in. But thus far, when they have asked that other group about changing, they have not been able to adjust.
We can't do anything about next year until we're done here this weekend, right? Like,
Yeah, every year we'll
Yeah,
probably
like-
book for the next year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
so
will
we can't,
only
like,
book now for
yeah.
2022. I cannot book 2023 now.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
It sounds like a metric for when, so we've been using one and they've been using another
wonderful world.
Yep.
Hey, Becky, can you hear me?
All right. So then,
Can you, Becky?
scholarships for next year's retreat. We typically give away 2 scholarships to entice people to come from just one church, or we can do it.
Generally 2 to 1 church.
Yeah, so the idea was thinking of like,
Right. I was thinking one year we did 2 to 2 different churches. So we had a
We may have had more money that year.
we did do 2.
Yeah, we do.
So are there any suggestions for churches that we should try to reach out to? I know we had a couple for this year that I don't know if we ended up following through on because of the whole virtual weirdness last year. But I noticed them in my notes somewhere. We chose the Downtown Disciples of Des Moines
Oh, yeah.
and Bismarck, North Dakota. Does anyone on the committee know if we've reached out to any of those people?
I did.
Not specifically, no. I mean, I did an email to all churches, but not
So would we
specifically.
like to keep those 2 or are there nominations for other churches to throw into the mix? I'm not doing like the official, if you have a. Don't know if we need to do that.
I believe that there should be somebody on the executive committee that is assigned that job to follow through to make sure that that's part of their umbrella responsibilities.
good point, yeah.
Just as an aside.
She said no.
I have lots of hats on the committee. so.
Okay, well, unless we come up with any other options, we'll just continue.
Yeah.
To offer those because we never followed through.
Do you think that falls under the vice president's responsibilities?
Possibly.
That's what I was saying.
You're very spokesman champion in training.
Holidays gonna get everything.
Have you seen a motion for that?
Probably do.
I would like to make a motion that the vice president be responsible for these scholarships and reaching out to those churches that we visit.
Second.
Right?
Yep.
Right.
Haven't done it for a while.
That was correct.
Everyone in favor?
Thank you, dear.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, that passes. Do we need to make a motion to send scholarships to the downtown disciples into this work?
That motion to do that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. this passes. Yay, business. Okay. All right, I would like to call our nominating committee up
Okay.
to give us their report. We have Kathy Hester, Jones, and Artie Armstrong. What?
Artie.
And Artie, thank you. And Artie was on our team too. So we were tasked with getting a new nominating committee, secretary, treasurer, and 2023 coordinators. So the new nominating committee is Terry.
Yay.
And I'm Becky Clark. I just want to remind, I think there's a rule that somebody who has been an officer has to be, there's no rule?
I don't remember.
Be on the nominee.
Yeah.
I don't
know.
know.
Well, I think it should be. Okay. All right, why don't we go on nominate committee? What?
At least someone who knows what's
Well,
going on.
then I think I have. Okay, so for treasurer, Anna is and always will be our treasurer going into the near future.
But I did say I would take on 2 more years.
Two more, yeah.
Whatever that is, so.
What?
Yes, I said I would take on another term, not for.
No.
I'm misunderstood.
We have
So she gets 1 year off and then we put her back in.
No.
I know, and she's supposed to be your friend, right?
Be the treasurer. So I guess,
Yeah.
You're 2 years off and then you're back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We're gonna chase her.
So we're gonna have a new secretary.
Yeah.
Anyway, our new secretary is Megan McWhorter. I did reach out to a couple people for 2023 coordinators. They're not in the place to do it. And frankly, I'm just gonna throw that. I don't have anybody who said they would be willing to do it.
Please think about it, let us know.
There's nobody new here. We always do like 2 years in advance, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So next year's set, so this would be the next year, so.
So, I feel like, okay, if anybody thinks of that they want to do, I mean, talk to us
And we can maybe help you find a partner,
Right.
you know.
Jerry's done it.
I would say it is, we have a lot of help, like the, administration helps a lot. But yeah, absolutely. It is not, incredibly difficult.
Like a kind of a team effort.
Yeah, you're not out there on your own.
Right.
And you get a chance to make retreat into whatever you want to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Want to celebrate Halloween on the team?
Matching up. You know about that.
Matching up.
So we got these at the Loop Trading Company.
Yes.
Everyone was expecting
I'm
that.
so sorry. I forgot.
But, it's highlight showing the meetings just
Oh,
where.
Yeah,
Because I already
Fine
found it.
tie-dye when you can make your own tie-dye.
that's right. This is made.
Breakout session.
Okay, oh, yeah, okay.
That's all we have for
That's
now.
all we got now. Well, if anybody decides they want to talk to us before the end of the weekend or email, and I think that when we email next, maybe to ask some people.
That we still need
If
coordinators
we
for
get
that.
told or something.
Can I just add, I'm relatively new here, I guess. There's some people here. But, you don't have to know what you want a theme to be.
No.
Like if you're going, oh, I could probably help that, but I'm not very creative, I can't come up with a theme. You don't have to. I mean, we can use a theme from a past year, or we can do what you want to do. I mean, you know, so.
You
don't
can
have to
always,
reinvent the wheel.
on the evaluation, make suggestions for
Yeah.
future themes too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That can be helpful.
yeah.
Yeah, we can pull from past information and all kinds of stuff, and like I said, you think you could with a partner, but you didn't, you know, you and the partner didn't decide yet, and you say, I'd really like to, we can help you find somebody to do it with you, so. Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys, thank you.
Thank you, Dominic. Thank you, Dominic. And yeah, contact the people who aren't here. If you think of somebody who would be a good coordinator or who maybe did it a while ago and say, hey, that was really great what you did retreat. It was so much fun. Have you thought about doing that again? Or rack your brain, think outside the box. Because if we don't have coordinators, we aren't going to have a very, she couldn't hear me, exciting.
Yeah, you talk really quiet, and you mumble a lot.
All right, so speaking of our coordinators, I would like to officially thank Lisa and Jeff for all their work this weekend. You're not done yet?
Oh, I think so.
Thank you in advance for all your-
A quilt top, really.
Yeah.
All hanging. Great, Tony will love it. All right. We also would like to thank Kate.
Thank
He's not here right now, so make sure you thank her for being here this weekend. If that's too. I'm sure we'll thank her. I would like to call up our current village officers, please. And then we'll add the new ones. So, myself, Melinda, Anna, Chrissy's on the screen.
I'm typing.
Okay.
Who's our third, nominating committee person? Already on. No.
No, the new.
The new
Oh,
one.
Becky Barclay
Becky
and,
Barclay.
Terry Bell, Rusty,
and
Now.
Sherry again.
Terry again.
And Terry again, okay.
Fifth year in a row.
There you
Okay.
go.
Nominated. Okay, so. Officership, folks, current coordinators, next year coordinators. People can see all the faces.
Yay, yeah.
No, we can't.
Sort of.
I can see this.
Sorry.
So for those who don't know, we've met most of the people already. You've seen Lisa and Deb in action. We have Millie and Lou. For no one to
Lou
do.
and Millie. Okay, Millie does not count.
Millie, but
because
Millie
he belongs to me.
But I want to thank you guys.
There you go. Thank you. Keep talking now. I got it.
I can talk. So, thank you guys for all of the work that you put in, because this last year and this year have truly been a team effort by this group of people. We kind of all got in for more than we signed on for last year, and ended up just sort of stretching everything out. And, you know, I signed up through this year, so I just got to do next year.
Yeah. That was easy.
No, we asked you last year. I know we did.
And those for those of us who are in those 2-year terms, that definitely counted as a year. Yeah, no, I was in schedule. So, but thank you. I will be making a donation to the camp here in all of your names, or in a collective name or something. And just as a thank you from all of us from me to all of you, and from all of us to the camp for everything they do for us, and to make sure that this space is here for us to come back to after their fire that they had and the building that they're working on. They've been through a bunch while we've been away, so.
And Elizabeth is our contact person. She has been wonderful to work with. She was so kind.
Yeah, and if you're wondering where Dan is Dan?
Yeah.
Dan, he's the guy who's usually here. He's fantastic. He's actually taking a vacation.
Oh, okay.
His daughter Elizabeth, who has been running everything while he's been gone, kind of said, yeah, you need to go. So, yeah, he finally had an opportunity to go on vacation, so she said that they were taking the train, he and his wife taking the train out to the west coast, Washington, Oregon, and then they're supposed to be coming back this week. So
Oh, nice.
I think they fixed it. I had that thing fixed. But yeah, it's the Empire Road. So.
All right, and then I'd like to, our newer, so Megan, just Megan, come on up.
Yay.
And our mystery coordinators for 2023 have Blaine.
No, you're out
They're right there. Right now. There's an installation, and I don't know what I need to do here. You are now officially blessed as members of our committee, and except for Deb and Lisa, who's going to go to the other committee.
Yeah, we have a 3-year stretch instead of 2.
But thank you all for your willingness to serve and for helping us work together to make things happen. All right.
Really?
You might get a thank you card.
Then again.
I have lovely blank cards. They're like. We'll see.
I found some that.
All right. I think that's all we have. Is there anyone who would like to close us in prayer?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, please be in the spirit of prayer. Good and gracious God, we are very blessed that you find ways for us to get together, whether it's on Zoom or together in person. We are blessed that you allow us this time, that we are able to work on our spiritual gifts, that we can love each other in fellowship and support each other in this wild and crazy world that we're living in. So we are thankful. Guide us when we get home, that we spread your message to all the world around us. And give us grace and blessings as we move on. Amen.
Amen.
And I'll turn it back over to you guys. Move on to our talent show.
Talent.
Can we have a 5-minute break?
Yes.
Yes.
And to get your.
And if there are more people that have something they want to share, come tell me so I can get you on the list, please. The list.
Okay.
We're out of practice.
Yes, we are.
During the Gear Up for Fall event at Van Wall Equipment. Take it. Now just not on one. Financing $1,200.
So Aaron just translate.
It's our limit. So stop into our Van Wall location today and gear up for fall on a brand